Welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly. This is a knitting podcast where I talk about all of my current projects, the projects that I've finished, and any projects that I want to make in the future. Sometimes I do talk about some other things like yarn dyeing or sewing, but I would say about 98% of the time it is focused on knitting. I'm really excited about today's video. It's one that I've been looking forward to for a really long time, and it is a type of video that is my most favorite type of knitting podcast video that I love to watch on YouTube. So it is the Everything I Made in 2023 video. I've got all of my piled up knits here beside me, and I'm really excited to get into all of it. The reason why I'm so excited to record and talk about all of these projects is I just think it'll be a really fun look back into the past year and to see how I have evolved as a knitter. And it's something that I think is really great for all knitters or makers or crocheters, sewers, whatever it is that you do. I think it is a good practice to get into, to kind of look back on the year and see how you've grown and evolved, and maybe how your style or preferences have changed. And that's kind of what I'm looking forward to today, is just looking back, seeing what I'm drawn to, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't work, and see how I've grown. So before we really jump into it all, I will just say that I'll probably forget a few things. I have gifted some things all throughout the year, and I think all of the gifted items I will try to put at the end of the video and just kind of throw some pictures in the video, and I won't talk about them too much, but I'll just kind of give them their moment if I remember to do that. And a lot of socks I've gifted, and they're just vanilla socks, so I won't be showing them on here, but these are kind of my made items that I've made for myself, and ones that I could remember. So let's get started. I'll just start with what I'm wearing today. It's actually my most recent finished object. This is a test knit for Andrea Gone Knits, and it is the front porch pullover. So it's finally done. The pattern is not out yet, but it should be out in the new year, probably like mid-January, I think. I'm not too sure, but once it is released, I'll be posting the finished object photos on my Instagram. I'll put my Instagram up here too in case you want to follow along and see when this is released. And I'll also be announcing it on my next podcast episode. So I knit this in Drops Flora in the color Misty Forest, and then I held it with a mohair, which is, let me grab it. I held it with a mohair that is handmade in fine yarn, and it is the color Stardust. So it just created a really beautiful fabric. I'll come closer. It's slightly marled because the Misty Forest is a bit more green than this mohair. As you can see, this is a drop shoulder sweater. I did size 1. It is twisted rib on the neck, the cuffs, and the hem. It is constructed top down, is that right? Yes, it is. It's a top down construction. You start with the back panel, then the front, then you join in the round, and then you pick up stitches here for the sleeves. So I did a tubular bind off for all of the edges. So the bottom, the cuffs, and the top here, because you do pick up the neckline. And it is just a really like comforting, easy knit. However, it's just like the most perfect fitting garment ever. So it is easy and simple, yet just like the details to shaping and the sizing and everything that Andrea has put into this design has just made it a really perfect fit, and it's becoming a staple in my wardrobe. I've only finished this maybe a couple weeks ago, and I've worn it several times already. It is really toasty. This is my first full mohair sweater, so I do get quite warm in it. However, like I do live in a cold climate most of the time, so it is a good sweater for me. I also like that it is a colored sweater. However, it's still kind of neutral to me because it's not so bright. It's kind of like a toned down teal, like a slate teal blue. So I do kind of consider it a bit of a neutral, but I still get to play with color, which I really enjoy because I get bored easily if I'm playing or if I'm knitting with neutrals a lot. Although I love them and I think they're gorgeous, I just get a little bored with it. So this was a good way for me to experiment with color, but still kind of keep it muted, toned down so it could go with a lot of things. So this is the first item we're talking about, the Front Porch Pullover by Andrea Gaughan Knits. Again, the pattern is not out yet, but it should be in a few weeks. And oh, before I forget, all of my projects will be linked down below. I'm just going to do a Ravelry bundle link, I think, of all my projects. So everything that I made this past year will be linked down below in one easy link to Ravelry. And most of the information are on the project pages. If I forgot to put something like yarn or needle size and you're curious, feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer as best as I can. I'll also try and mention all the yarns on here and patterns and designers as best as I can as well. But again, sometimes you just forget to say things. So if you do have a question afterwards, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer. So I'm going to go ahead and start with accessories and socks and smaller items first, and then we'll just jump into garments and in no particular order. So, oh, I'm wearing a pair. I'll start with, this was like my second pair of socks. They're just vanilla socks. I'll go through these really quickly. I had some leftover yarn and it's DK weight, and I've got one like this and another pair like this. So the main foot part on this sock is the cuff and toe on this one, and the main foot part on this one is cuff and toe on this one. So they're just a really fun, scrappy pair of vanilla socks. My second pair only, and there are definitely some mistakes on it. The toes are not clean, not tidy whatsoever, but I still wear them a lot and I love them. My second pair that I'll show you, which was my first ever knit pair of socks, are these ones. Vanilla Socks by Crazy Sock Lady DK weight version. I did a 2x2 cuff on the foot, slip stitch, heel, flap, and gusset, and then just a regular toe. This is all one color. The yarn for these, yeah, it's a company in Alberta, so it's local to me. I think it's called Created Equal. Something like that. And I don't remember the colorways. Again, if you're interested in this yarn, just leave a message and I'll do some digging. My third pair of socks was a gift to my partner. This was a DK weight, so I held fingering sock yarn, held double, and it is from Windswept Fibers. I forget the colorway. I'm sorry, if you're interested, let me know. I ran out of yarn, so I just did a little contrast toe. And the stuff I had in my stash matched it perfectly. And he wears these all the time. They're super warm for him for when he gets home from work after a chilly day. Okay, we're gonna do my one and only hat from the year. This is the, what is this called? I forget what this hat is called. It's by Andrea Gaughan Knits. This was a test knit. The pattern is out now. I did the DK weight version, and this is the yarn Life in the Long Grass in the colorway Grit. Just a really beautiful beigey off-white with some subtle purpley and blue speckles throughout. I think it's the Everyday Beanie, maybe? Oh my goodness. I'll put it up on the screen, or it'll be linked down below if I forget to do that. This is a great pattern because it has, in the pattern, there's many different options for different gauges. So you could do fingering, DK, worsted, maybe Aran and bulky, I'm not sure, but there are many different options for gauges. It is a 2x2 ribbed hat. Really clean, nice decreases at the top. It's worked bottom up, and there's also option to do a double folded brim, which I really wanted to do. I just didn't have enough yarn, so a single brim for me. I wear this hat all the time. I've only had it for a couple months now, and it's definitely gotten a lot of wear. I plan to make a few more of these too. They're super quick. Ooh, my latest accessory. These were a pair of World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits. These were my first pair of mittens that I just finished maybe a week ago. Took me a day for each mitten, and this is, I love these, in Noro Silk Garden Solo yarn, kindly gifted to me from Knitting Fever. And I just did, what did I do? I cast it on for the kid size because I was scared of running out of yarn. I only had one skein, and then I did the length for the adult, and it worked out fine. I've got really like long, lean hands, so it worked out fine. I love these. I'll be making a whole lot more of these. I think these would make great gifts, and I know we're past Christmas now, but I think I'm going to try and pick away at Christmas gifts a little sooner this year, maybe try and do one gift a month. And I think these might be a great one because they were so quick to knit up, and this was like worsted weight yarn, so that helped it too, and it just flew by. And I know this is a really popular pattern, but if you haven't done the World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits yet, it's a free pattern. It's really easy. They like really walk you through all of it, and there's different options for different weights of yarn, so you could do fingering to bulky and multiple sizes. So I think from like toddler to adult man, maybe. This was one I did early last year. This was, I had a skein of Noro Madara in the color, I forget what the color is, but it's a purpley one. And I just wanted a headband, so I just did a 2x2. There's no pattern for this. It was just like the easiest thing ever. And I just kind of wear it like that. And it's great if you don't want to get your hair messed up. And I don't know about you guys, but my ears are super sensitive with the wind. Like any little slight breeze goes into my ear and it's a crazy earache. So this was great. Yeah, it was just a 2x2 headband with zero shaping. It flares a bit at the bottom because I did a stretchy bind off, but I wear this at the bottom, so it kind of, you can't even tell when I wear it. It kind of just sits flat. This is a really fun one. This was a test knit that I did over the summer, spring or summer, and this is the Romanticist bandana by made by Bear Made. Her name is Meredith. I think it's, I don't know, I forget. I think it's Bear Makes, something like that. Again, the pattern will be linked down below. This was a really fun one. It is, I think, DK or worsted weight yarn, and you start down here, work your way up, and it's an I-cord tie. I used some cotton yarn in the color Sage. I think it might be Juniper Moon. I'm not, God, I wish I could remember. Again, if you want to know, just leave me a message and I can look for you. Really cute little eyelet details throughout here. This was a quick knit. You can finish it in a day or 2 days, and a really fun little gift knit too. You can also wear it like a bandana, which is cute. Next is the Sophie scarf. This is Sophie scarf by Petite Knit. I'm sure you've heard of it. Really simple, tiny, quick knit. It is just garter stitch with an I-cord edge, and then you just increase on one side to form this tip, and then you start decreasing all the way back down. I used some random ball of yarn in my stash that was from We Are Knitters. It is the alpaca. I'm not sure of the name, but it's this nice dusty mauve color, and it is the softest yarn ever. I mean, it's a bit, because there's like, might be able to see it. You can kind of see the fibers through there. that kind of irritates my neck a bit. It's not scratchy, it's just like stray fibers kind of tickling your neck. So it's not the best for me to wear, but it is very, very cute. So I've worn it in my hair before, which was cute, but there we go. Next is the Sophie shawl by Petite Knit, and this one I wear a whole lot more. It's much larger, same kind of thing, it's just bigger, so you increase only on one edge only. It's garter stitch with slip stitch edges. I knit this with Sirdar Snuggly DK in the colorway Tawny. I usually wear it like this, wrapped around once, and then do a little tie here. And I love this scarf. It actually keeps me perfectly warm. It's not too bulky. Sometimes I feel really like claustrophobic with some big chunky knits. This is perfect. It's not too bulky at all. I actually kind of want to make a few other. It was a really quick knit, super fun, and I wear this a ton. I believe that's all for accessories. I wasn't that into accessories this year. So we'll start with some garments now. Again, this is in no particular order. I'm not doing it in chronological order or in like my most worn or anything like that. This will just be how it's laid next to me on the table. So first one here, this is the Ripple Crop Top Worsted by Jessie Mae Designs. I did this in the springtime, I think, and as you can see, I omitted the sleeves. So it's supposed to be like a little short sleeve shirt, but I tried it on when I was done everything and was about to pick up stitches for the sleeves, but I just loved the way it looked on me and I thought it was really flattering, so I kept it as is. This is a bottom up construction, so you work in the round until you have to separate for front and back, and then it's a 3-needle bind off for the straps. So I was a bit annoyed at first because as you can see the ribbing here doesn't like line up, and I don't know if that was a me problem or a pattern problem. It was most likely a me pattern, but again, it's on the shoulders, you don't really see it much. This was knit in a cotton yarn, and I forget, it's the same yarn as this one. I used the scraps from this to make this. It's 100% cotton, it's the colorway Sage, I forget the brand, but if you want to know, just leave me a message, or a comment rather. As far as how often I wore this in the summer, I wore it a few times. It wasn't my most worn by any means. I kind of wish I made it a bit longer, being that it was constructed bottom up. Again, it's so hard to tell when you have the correct length when you're knitting bottom up. I thought I did, but I just would have loved it if it were maybe just a touch longer. I tend to wear this like over top of jumpers in the summertime or paired with a high-waisted like midi skirt. So I love it. It's a really cute staple piece. I didn't get as much wear out of it as I thought I would in the summer, and I think that's just mostly because of the length. I would knit this again. I think it was a really easy, quick knit. I love the look of the ribbing. I think it's really pretty, and I actually just love it without the sleeves. I thought I'd love it with the sleeves too, but I don't know, the way it's shaped, it just was really flattering. Next is the Helianthus Tank by Andrea Gone Knits. This was my first ever test knit of the year and of my life. And this is probably my most worn summer piece. I wore this to death in the summertime. It was knit using Ritual Dyes yarn, Undine, I think it was called. Ritual Dyes Undine, and I think it was the color Slate. So it's a fingering cotton and linen blend. This one is worked bottom up. You have twisted rib at the hem and the arms and the neck and a tubular bind off. It's just like the perfect staple piece in your wardrobe for summertime. I wore this over top of jumpers, I wore it on its own. I can pair it with jeans, shorts, skirts, everything. And I love it. It's really breathable too, being that it's like a fingering weight cotton and linen. Some cotton, like this is a DK cotton and this is a fingering, and this just feels so much heavier to wear. And this is really light and airy, and it gave me the like perfect amount of positive ease just to get like that breeze that you need sometimes to keep cool in the summer. What else can I say about this? I would make it again because of the fit and because of how much I wear it. I would work with this yarn again too, because it was just like, it's wearing so well and it was the perfect thing for summer. It is hand dyed, and I did alternate skeins to avoid any pooling. As you can see, there is a bit of variation there, but nothing major, and I think it turned out really well. Next is another test knit for Andrea Gahn that I did over the summertime, and this is the Galax tank. And this one is a really fun bottom up construction, and it's got some nups and some lace detailing in it. The nups in mine kind of get lost. I don't think I chose the perfect yarn for this, so you mostly just see the lace V's, which is fine. The nups kind of get hidden in the fabric, and I do have to pop them out. Behind the shirt here, I kind of have to pop them out for you to see it, but that's okay. The V lace detailing is just gorgeous, and I used Queensland Collection, I think it was dungaree yarn, and it's like recycled denim, and this might be the color kangaroo, maybe something like that. It's really pretty, and I wore this quite a few times over the summer. I actually modified this by doing an extra repeat of the lace, so this is actually supposed to be even more cropped. I'm really glad I added the length. I kind of wish I added maybe even 1 or 2 more repeats to this just to add a bit more length, because it is quite cropped and it does prevent me from wearing it on its own. However, I do layer it with jumpers and like other like spaghetti strap dresses that I'll wear in the summertime. This is a great piece to layer with it and just to kind of like renew some pieces in your wardrobe that you're kind of bored with. I also forgot to mention that it is finished with an applied I-cord for the hem, the neck, and the sleeves, or the armholes rather. So I would knit this again. It was really fun and enjoyable. It's mostly stockinette, but on the back and front, every now and then, you just get a little bit of interest with some lace detailing. Doing the nups did irritate my hands quite a bit, but it would be really easy to keep those out if you didn't want to do that. I would use this yarn again too. It's really fun. I think it's mostly like 95% cotton and then 5% recycled something. Okay, next up, I finished this early last year. This is the Rib Lace Raglan by James N. Watts. I used 1 skein of Ancient Arts yarn, fingering weight, their sock yarn, and it's the colorway name is something, it has a moose in it, I think. I can't remember the exact name. So this one here I've worn maybe once, and that was probably for like a couple hours. It didn't take long to knit, but I only had 1 skein. So there are a couple things that I would do differently with this. Is I wouldn't rely on 1 skein. I would try and get another skein just to add some length, because it is quite cropped. And as you can see, there's a very distinct line here in the yarn. So it is knit top down and raglan, so it's all in the round, and it was going perfectly, like everything was really even. And this is with 1 skein, and then at the end there was a very clear line here. It's mostly on one side. There's no short row shaping for the back here, so the front and back is the exact same. Oh, it's even worse here, never mind. So you can see that line. I think it's this side's might be a bit better. So that really bothered me, and then just the fit of it, it was super cropped. and I only had about this much yarn left over. So I got every bit of yarn that I could out of this piece, but I just don't wear it. And it was really a joy to make. Like, I would definitely make this again, and I plan to, because I think it's really pretty and beautiful. It's just some ribbing with some lace in between. And I want to make it obviously longer in the body, and then I think some longer sleeves too. I think that would look really pretty and just keep them straight, so I kind of get like a bell effect. I like this yarn, but I really like Ancient Arts yarn, but I would, yeah, maybe just use this for a sock next time. I actually do plan on ripping this out, because there's no use for it to just sit in my closet and not get anywhere. And it makes me sad that I'm not getting anywhere. So it's really cute. I love the pattern. I like the yarn, but together just didn't work. And I will be ripping this out in the new year at some point and turning it into, I think, a pair of socks for somebody for Christmas next year. Okay, this one is the CPO4 polo shirt or tank by Minimi Knit Design. This was a test knit, and I knit this in Noro Kakegori in the color Shimonoseki. And this is a DK weight yarn, and it's really beautiful. It's got lots of beautiful oranges and some purples in there, but mostly beige, little flecks of yellow. This was a really fun, interesting construction. You start with the collar, and it is double thick, this collar, as you can see. And then you work one front panel first, and then like another front panel, then you work the back, then you join in the round, and it's just a regular bind off at the bottom. Some 1x1 ribbing for the armholes. And this is just a 2x1 ribbing all throughout the body. And this portion here is also double layer. So I really enjoyed knitting this because it was something super new to me as far as construction goes. And the yarn was fun because it kind of just throws you some color every now and then, which I really enjoy. And I wore this a few times in the summertime. I think I maybe, I love the way it looks with the yarn. I think I just maybe chose too warm of a yarn because this is a summer piece. It is quite hot to wear this, and I love the look of it. I love how it fits me. I think it's really flattering. I love the color. I love everything. It's just that the yarn is a bit warm for a sleeveless piece. So that's all on me. I think I should have just chosen something maybe with a bit more breathability. But I would use this yarn again, and I would use this pattern again. I will plan on, I'm not ripping it out or anything. I want to wear it more. I just kind of have to figure out what's the best weather for it, and maybe how I can layer it, and maybe have like another piece over top that looks good with this collar and this yarn. So if you can't tell already, this was a big year of test knitting for me. It was my first year of test knitting, and I don't think I'm gonna get that much into it this coming year. I really experimented with test knitting this year, and it was fun, but now I kind of want to focus more on my own projects and my own creativity. So a lot of these are going to be test knits, and the next one is a test knit as well. And this was by Just a Lot of Design, Just a Lot of Knitwear, I think, and it's the Batty Tee, and it is a square neck, broken rib cap sleeve tee. This was knit top down, and it has an applied I-cord for the neckline, the cuffs, and the bottom. I knit this in Pearl Soho linen quill in the color Peach Stone. I love this yarn. I think it's really pretty. I just don't love the color on me. I don't think, I never feel that I never feel that good when I wear this. I love the fit of this shirt, however, and I would knit this again. I think it's just the color. I chose the wrong color. So that's okay, but I do love this top, and I'll try and wear more throughout the year because it is beautiful. The only thing is with this yarn, I don't know if it's coming off on camera, but there's a little like mark right here, and it's not a stain, like it just knit up that way. So that kind of bothers me because it's like smack dab right in the middle. If it were in the back or the side, I would not care, but it's right in the middle. See, like there, you can see it. It drives me insane. But this was a really unique knit because I don't think there are a lot of square neck shirts out there, and this was also a cap sleeve, so there was some really interesting short row shaping for the cap sleeve, short row shaping for the shoulders as well, and it just has like the most amazing fit. It really feels like a custom piece. So I would definitely knit this again, and I would use linen quill again, but I think I would keep that for, I love the drape it has. I do love the feel. It does tend to get a bit itchy for me because of the linen. You can actually see bits of it hanging out. That does irritate me a bit. It's not that it's scratchy again. It's just like you get little tickles here and there. But it's really like a beautiful, nice yarn to work with in my opinion. I think I would keep it maybe for more shawls that I'm not... Shawls are difficult too because they're going to be around your neck. I don't know what. Maybe a cardigan that's a layering piece and not right next to my skin. And I would choose a different color because I love, love, love the colorways that Pearl Soho has for linen quill. I always just go and look at them, and I never buy because it ends up being quite expensive for shipping and then for the exchange rate from US to Canadian. Anyway, I love this tee. I just don't wear it too much. Next was one of my first items that I finished last year, or this year in 2023 at the beginning of the year, and that is the Colette tee by Witter Design. And this was like, I think my first, this very well could have been my first knitted shirt, and it was definitely my first raglan. I used Senis Garn Duo in the color Dark Rose Powder. So it's a 50% cotton, 50% wool. I love this yarn. I really loved working with it. I love the color of it. But for some reason, I do find it a tad scratchy. So I don't know. It's a kind of annoying because it is kind of a mock neck. So it does get a little irritable, like my skin gets a bit irritated. But I think like once I get wearing it throughout the day, I kind of get used to it. So this is a top-down construction. You start with the ribbing here for the neckline, you work some short rows, and I believe this would be considered a contiguous construction. It's all knit in the round. You don't have to work anything flat, but you do the shoulder here and then you do your raglan. What's really funny is that I don't know if it was, I got pretty confused with this pattern because I think there is it could have just gotten a little bit confusing while translating the pattern, and it also could have been me because this was my first raglan, but I as you can see, the raglan, like I didn't have any stitches in between the increases for the raglan, so that's kind of funny because I would never do that now, but it was my first garment, so that's fine. I'm okay with it, and it's not too bad. It's just something I notice now. And this was also the first project that I had short row shaping in, and I was so confused with short rows when I did this. I definitely had to rip back quite a few times just to get it right because I had the big holes. I had no idea what was going on. But this was the project where I learned how to successfully do short row shaping and learned that it's not scary at all, and it does make a difference. So it's also one of those things where once you do get it right, if you had been doing it incorrectly before and you finally get it right and there's very little gaps and holes from your short row shaping, that it becomes like so satisfying to do each one. So I love this one. I actually wore it quite a bit last year at the beginning of winter, and a couple times this winter season as well. So I plan on making this again because I think it's a really flattering classic piece. I would love to have it in maybe like a cream or a black even. I would make it just maybe this much longer next time. I always think I'm good on length, and then every single time it ends up being a bit too cropped. So that's something that I'm taking away with me this year and into next, is just add an inch or so, because that should just be a rule for me. Next one, this is the Other Loops sweater by, no, I think it's by Other Loops, and then the sweater has something loops in it. Like the word loops is in the sweater name. And, oh, what is it called? That's gonna drive me nuts again. It's gonna be down below. I knit this in Queensland Collection Tenderfoot in the color Dark Oak, and this was kindly gifted to me from Knitting Fever. I knit this really quickly. It was such a fun, quick knit for me. It's quite an open gauge. It's quite airy. You can see like a lot of the light through it, as you can kind of see like my face through it. This could be my most worn piece of the year. Even though I just finished it a month or two ago, I wear it all the time because of its color. It's beige, it's neutral, it goes with absolutely everything. Because of its shape, it's loose, the yarn feels good, it's not scratchy, I can wear it bare next to skin, and it is such a great shirt to just throw over and wear. It like kind of dresses up my regular yoga pants I wear on a daily basis, or just a pair of jeans. I did do some modifications. I shortened the sleeves so it's kind of like three-quarter length sleeves, and then I did an I-cord bind off for the sleeves, and I did, yeah, that's it, a regular bind off for the bottom, which was called for, and then it was supposed to be regular bind off for the sleeves as well, I think. This was also worked, how was this worked? There was a whole lot of short row shaping in this, because as you can see, the back is quite lifted. And then you do some shoulders, like increasing. And then you work the front flat and the back flat a little bit, join in the round to do the bottom, and then you pick up stitches on the side for the sleeves. So I would knit this again, definitely. It was just like, it's a great staple piece, and I would use this yarn again. And in fact, I have used this yarn again in other projects that aren't done, so I won't show today. But it's just a really soft yarn. I haven't washed it since making it, but it seems to be holding up well. It does pill slightly, but that was to be expected, I think, because it's like quite soft. This is merino plus polyamide. I think it's maybe 20% polyamide, but it just like, it will, one thing, it grew a lot. Oh my God. Okay, we're back. Anyway, it grew a lot in blocking. So that was really nice, because I was worried that it was just going to be a little bit too tight fitting, and with this design it's supposed to be really like open, airy, and oversized. So it grew a bunch in blocking, which made me very happy, and it looks sloppy when I'm just holding it up here, but it really just is like a perfect sweatshirt that you can throw on. And I've kind of played around with styling it, and it looks really good with like long skirts and high-waisted jeans and some like flowy trousers I have. So I really enjoy that one. Here we have the Tulip sweater by Melody Hoffman. I knit this in Juniper Moon Patagonia, the organic wool, and it's the color Acorn. I did do some modifications with this. I did like half sleeves, so they end just at my elbow. It's quite cropped because I wanted it specifically to wear over this jumper I have and to wear over top of dresses in winter and like spring and fall too. So this one is a top-down raglan construction. Its main feature here, its famous feature, is a scalloped hem. I would definitely knit this again. I think it's a beautiful, really pretty feminine pattern, and I would use the yarn again too. It's a really nice yarn to work with. It feels like really soft. I have a bit of pilling here at the underarm, but I think that was to be expected with this as well. It feels really nice, like you can wear it next to skin. Well, I can anyway. And I want to make a bigger, roomier version of this in different yarn this time, just to change it up, but I kind of want one that's probably down to here and full length, and maybe do a bit more exaggerated scallops on the hem. I do wear this quite a bit. I've gotten a lot of wear of it out of it since finishing it back in, I think, late September. Yes, I finished it right before my birthday. So I've worn this a bunch. It's definitely up there with one of my most worn knits. And my next one here, it actually has leftover yarn from this project. So this is the porcelain sweater by Lane It by Lane It. This is a really popular pattern, and I'm sure you've seen it around on Instagram or on YouTube. I did a couple modifications with this that we'll go through. So one being the contrast neckline here, and I had to do a pop of color at the cuff. And that's mainly because I was running out of my main yarn. And this main yarn, it actually feels very similar to this. So it is also the Queensland Collection Tenderfoot, but in the color Old Ivory, I believe. And so it has like a very similar feel to that yarn, so that's why I paired it together, and it's very soft. I have worn this quite a few times. I finished it, I think, in November, maybe end of October, around there. And I really do love wearing it because it is probably the piece that I'm most proud of, because it is my first colorwork piece. And it was just really fun to knit. I have good memories associated with this sweater because I just had a great time knitting it. And I also am proud of myself for knitting it. I just think it looks really, really beautiful, especially from afar. I held this double. The pattern does call for, no, sorry, I didn't hold it double. I held it single with fingering weight yarn. The pattern calls for fingering weight held with mohair, which I did not do because I didn't want to overheat. I didn't have any mohair in my stash, and I wasn't about to go buy some mohair because I'm on a budget. So it worked out fine. I'm a very tight knitter, so I actually had to go up a needle size to get gauge, even with just holding it single. But I love it. I think it works out nice. I don't overheat in it. And one thing that's kind of interesting about this sweater is that you do have to do color work flat just for the front and back pieces. So this front strip here and this back strip here, it's knit flat, but it's really not too difficult because you're only working with 2 yarns at a time, and it's a short section and it's pretty simple color work. I would say my favorite color work piece is the middle, and it's got like that beautiful vine flower, or not vine, but the leaf motif. I definitely want to knit this again. I have plans to do a beige one as the main color and then a dark forest green for the contrast, and I want to pair it with mohair this time if it is in my budget, and kind of have it for next winter. I don't know if I'll get to it anytime soon, but maybe this time next year I'll want to knit it. This here is a very popular piece in my wardrobe. I wear it all the time in the summertime. If I could just remember what it's called and who it's designed by. It's escaping my memory. but I knit this in We Are Knitters cotton in the color Copper. I think it is a paneled piece bottom up. So you knit the front panel, knit the back panel, then you seam them together. You're supposed to also knit the sleeves separately, but I am flat and then seam them on, but I just picked up stitches along the armhole and knit them in the round to make it a lot easier. I wear this all the time, like off my shoulder, and I just find it the most flattering that way. I also always wear it over top of a jumper that I own, or I wear it with this long maxi skirt that I have, and it is a really nice summer piece. I wear this all the time in the summer. I actually plan on making a second one in which I will make it a bit longer in the body, a very common theme here, and I'll make the sleeves longer too, because there is an option to make these much longer, and then you can also have a split, I think it's underneath, to have like flutter sleeves. I think that's what it's called. So yeah, I would definitely knit again. The yarn was nice to work with. It feels a bit heavy. I would like some more, like a lighter weight yarn next time, but I love this pattern. I think it's really pretty. It only has 3 sizes, unfortunately, but I think it would be really easy to adapt. Like, this is the smallest size, and it's quite oversized. I was even considering like dropping one of these repeats here for a tighter look, and I might do that in my next one. But all you have to do is just cast on extra amount of stitches for whatever the repeat is, or subtract that, and then you can adjust the width by doing that. So it'd be super easy to customize. Okay, this next one was a test knit for Athena Lou, and this is the Vine Tee. I did this last year, spring, I think. It is a top-down raglan, and the main feature is the vine cabling that you get at the raglan increases and all the way down the hem. So it goes on both sides. There we go. At the back, this was my first cable piece, I think. Oh no, I've done cable before, but it was my first cable piece in the round, I guess. Not that that really changes it, but what I love most about this is the fabric, because I paired this, there we go, it's gonna blow out of it, with some beautiful like lace weight yarn. All the color pieces in here is some lace weight yarn that my boyfriend got me in Japan. So I paired that with a strand of DK weight, just like plain cotton, and it came out with the most beautiful speckled fabric. So I love this fabric so much, and I love this shirt so much. I think the design is beautiful. So I love this top, I love the fabric, and I love the design. I think the construction and like the little design elements are really beautiful. I just think I chose the wrong fabric for it. So I've only worn it about once, which is unfortunate because this was a labor of love. But it's just too thick and heavy of a fabric for me. And I found that there was a lot of bunching under the arm sleeve, under the armpit, which I didn't like the look of. The original pattern calls for Sadness Garn Lena, and a lot of the testers use that yarn. I know Athena used that yarn, and there's no bunching under there. I think it's probably the yarn I should have used, and I really love the look of hers and how it drapes. So I think it was just, yeah, my yarn choice, unfortunately. I would like to rip it out and reuse this yarn in a different way and knit this up again in the Sadness Garn Lena, but I just don't know if I have the heart to rip it out because I felt like it really did take me a long time. And I don't know. We'll see. I think I'll give it another season of spring and summer and see if I pull it out again, or maybe I can even just alter the sleeves, make it more of a cap sleeve, and then that would eliminate all the bunching here. I'm not really sure because I do love this. I think it's really cute, and again, the fabric, like sometimes there's like a big pop of pink and it's just so pretty and cute and unique, I think. And like, it feels really nice that it's heavy and it feels super luxurious, but just wearing it, I get really like claustrophobic kind of. So we'll see. I'm gonna think about this one. Another test knit I did last spring or last summer. This was the Wood Anemone Tee by Sari Nordlund, and I knit this in Juniper Moon color Sage. It may have been Zoe, maybe, I think, was the yarn. So this is like my first, no, this is my first circular yoke, and my first one with baubles. Really, really beautiful design. I think it's stunning, but I just don't wear this, and I think it's because of my yarn choice again. And I think I'm actually going to be ripping this out and repurposing the yarn for something else. I do have 2 extra balls of this yarn. So this took about 2 balls of yarn to knit up. I'd have 4 balls total. So I could make something really cute and something that I actually wear. I do love this though. I think it's pretty. I would re-knit it in a different yarn, and I'd omit the baubles because that just like wreaked havoc on my hands. But it's gorgeous, it's really pretty, it was fun to knit other than the baubles. So I would knit again. I'm never wearing it because I don't know why. I think, again, I need to make it longer. I don't know. I never wear it. So I would knit this again, but maybe in wool and do like a long sleeve. I don't really like it too much for a short sleeve, I don't think. Ooh, we're getting there. 2 more pieces that I have actually here. This was something I finished last year, or not last year, this year, but like maybe February of this year. And this is by Goodnight Day. And what sweater? It's the Nanaimo sweater, I think. And I knit this in Wool Knitting's Crazy Sexy Wool, I believe, and it's bronzed olive. It's just like a raglan jacket with a big neck. Ooh, I like these colors together. So I don't think I have any pictures of this, of me wearing it, so I'll just throw it on. I actually do get a lot of wear out of this in like early spring, early fall. It's quite thick and keeps me very warm. It's cute. I don't like wear it in winter a whole lot if I need a lot of layering, but actually thinking now, like today, this whole week and next week, I could probably get away with wearing it with the weather. But it's really cute. I hated knitting it. I absolutely hated it because the thickest yarn ever and the biggest, chunkiest needles, and it just killed my hands, but it was worth it. I do like it, and it's a nice like heavy piece, and it keeps you very warm. I kind of wish I had like some buttons or a zipper or something, because it does tend to, like, because of the weight of it, it does tend to fall off, but it's really cute. Okay, the final piece that I have here, this one I started in 2022 on my birthday, October 1st, 2022, and I finished it, I think, like February 15th of 2023, not that that matters. Anyways, it's the Pressed Flowers shawl, and it is a piece that, one of the other pieces that I'm most proud of, because I had barely even started knitting before I decided to do this. I'm just proud of myself for going for it and doing it. I mostly wear it like this. It does keep me very warm. I know quite a few people are knitting pressed flower stuff right now because of the cowl that's going on, the I Can Buy Myself Flowers Cal, and it does make me want to knit something else in pressed flowers, but then I remember how long this took me. But it was really enjoyable, and for me anyway, you kind of like, I got the hang of the pattern quite quickly of like where to do the flowers and where to purl, where to knit. It was just like a really fun, enjoyable knit. Now I really want to make another one. But this one I used DK weight yarn, and I used Mirasol. I forget the yarn. It was Mirasol, but I forget like what line of yarn and what the colors were. The red was Poppy, I believe. And yeah, I can't remember. Again, if you're interested, let me know and I'll look for you and we can figure it out. But yeah, this one I love so much. I would love to turn it into a blanket. I would love to have the pullover because it would be so cute. I think I want to make the pullover in like black, with a black as the main and then like a beige as the flowers. I think that would be really pretty. But the socks would be fun too, the hat, the cardigan. They're all so cute. So this is my final piece that we have here today. And as I say goodbye to all of you today, I will put up some pictures over here of some other items that I don't have with me here today, but I have already gifted and made this year. So a lot of them will be pieces for my niece and some for my nephew, and probably some socks for my mom and things like that. Just little pieces, but they deserve to get shown too. So I really enjoyed going through all these again because some of them have just been sitting in my closet and kind of getting like dog-piled of knits on top of it, and I hadn't seen them in a long time and kind of forgot that they were there, and it made me want to, you know, get them out of my closet and wear them more often. It was really cool looking back too and seeing some of my first big projects that I did and just seeing some of the mistakes, or like how much I've grown when I think back to knitting those and how I was so confused at doing something that I consider now to be like quite simple. So it's just like, it's really encouraging, I think, to look back at your projects and see how you've grown, because it's easy to forget that throughout the year. And I know for a lot of us, knitting is like a massive part of our lives, and I know for me it's a huge part of my life. It has improved my quality of life this last year. It's given me motivation and community and a bigger like sense of purpose. So I'm just so grateful for this past year that I've been able to knit as much as I have, and for all of you for watching my videos and liking them and commenting. That helps me out just a ton. So thank you all so much for this past year. I think it was December 14th or 18th was my year mark of being on YouTube, so that was kind of cool to look back at my first video and see how much I've grown. And yeah, that was just fun. So a lot of just looking back and reflecting and just being thankful for things. So thank you all so much for watching, and especially if you've made it to this point all the way to the end, thank you very, very much. I would love to know if you are kind of looking back at all the items you've made this year, and to see what you enjoyed the most, what you didn't enjoy, what worked, what didn't. I'd love to know if you are doing that. I don't think I'm going to be doing like a plans video. I'm not sure, because I just change my mind so often, which is fine, but I just find like I don't really want to plan anything out this year. I just kind of want to do it as like I please, and whatever comes up, I'll knit, and I don't want to have to stick to something. Not like you can change your plans, obviously, but I just will 100% change my plans. So I don't really want to do a whole plan video, but we'll see. Things could change also. I'll maybe do a goal video of like my goals for the next year and what I kind of want to, maybe there's new techniques I want to learn or more practices I want to incorporate into my knitting. I'd like to do something like that. All right, I'm gonna end it there because I've been talking too long. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.